There was no like moment where I like lost it, you know. I just gradually accepted it, you know. There's nothing you can do about it. You just kind of roll with it, you know. I mean, you can't have like a freak out and just like scream and like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. Hey, how you doing, mate?
Hey man, how's it going?
Could I please have a look at that guitar over there?
Yeah, the resonator? Sure.
Yeah.
There we go. There you go, man. Thanks. You put me to shame.
Hey, thanks, mate. I really appreciate that, yeah.
I have to ask, man, what happened?
I'm Ripu. I'm 22 years old and I grew up in Takapuna in Auckland. Growing up, I was always quite shy and reserved, and I used to be really into music. I used to play a lot of guitar and that, and I used to write songs and lyrics and all that. And that initially led me to go into journalism, which is what I chose to study at university. And I studied at Auckland University of Technology. I did a Bachelor of Communications there. After graduating, I moved over to Sydney just to complete a master's. I was 20 years old at the time, and yeah, it was a really exciting time for me, just being in a different place and just a really big environment and meeting a lot of new people and just like living away from home, and it was a really great experience. I really grew into the person that I always wanted to be, and I felt very confident in my ability to succeed and where I was going in my life.
Sydney was a new chapter for him. The best year of his life and the worst. My son, he was at his peak, he was independent. I have seen him mature over the past couple of years into a fine young man.
Also, I was very comfortable in my own skin for the first time. I wasn't feeling very insecure or shy. Just that confidence really pushes you and helps you just chase what you're after, you know? Well, today is actually, it's been 1 year since I fell ill. Because I fell ill July 29th, 2015. And I can remember that last week so vividly, like it was yesterday. Everything I was doing, just like before I fell ill. Because that's really the last time I felt like myself. Basically, I had this really intense pain in my feet. It was like, how would I explain it? It's basically like really, really cold, but not cold, but like excruciatingly cold. Like I couldn't walk on them, there was so much pain. And I went in to see the doctor, and I was just lying on this bed, and all I can recall is there was a point where everyone sort of just like ran behind like a, kind of like a screen, as if like they needed to distance themselves from me. And the doctors came, they went and they came back wearing these masks, like these sort of like how would I describe it? It was like kind of like a hazard suit, you know, when there's like a helmet and there's like a screen, and it was like, and then basically he was saying, you know, you got to call someone, like, because before I'd been like, yeah, no, I don't want to call anyone, but he's like, you got to call someone, like, I really want you to call someone. So I called my dad.
When I first got the call from one of the emergency doctors, I was working up in the far north, Western Australia, in one of the country towns where I work every 6 weeks for a fortnight. And he said that my son Ripu was very sick, and they think he's got meningococcal sepsis.
Then I remember the doctor basically saying to me, like, you know, they were just kind of wheeling me away, and he says to me, like, you know, we're going to put you out now. It could be like days, could be weeks, could be ages, you know. And I was like, what? And then like they kind of lower this mask on your face, and then just, that's it. That's the end of the memories, kind of stopped there.
And then there was a phone call which just made everything go blank. where the doctor phoned and said, "I'm very sorry to ring you like this, doctor, but I don't think your son's going to make it beyond the next couple of hours." And my thought then was just, as a doctor on call, I would say to my juniors, just keep going till I get there. I didn't know, just automatically I said, just keep going, just keep trying. My wife will be there in an hour or two. She was already on the plane. We heard later on he had actually got so sick that his heart stopped. And so as his mum arrived, they were reviving him, and they just started to revive him, and she got there, and the doctor said to my wife, he didn't suffer.
I just kept crying. That's how I remember. I was just crying and talking and crying and just saying, why, how come he's so cold? He doesn't like being cold.
Things really just went from bad to worse over the first few weeks. I could see the complications developing before the doctors told us.
I remember, like, I was just really out of it. I find it hard to put everything in order. Half of what I'm experiencing is just, like, my subconscious, like, my dreams. I remember thinking I was just going to uni and, like, I couldn't find any of my classes and, like, just weird stuff, you know what I mean?
I mean, he was my son, I recognized him, but he looked so different. I think it's almost like he's walked through a minefield and the bomb's gone off. And we don't know if he's going to come out of it for the first day or so. And then slowly the dust and smoke is settling, and we see this shadow of a figure. Hey, that's our son. We know it's our son, but what does he look like? What can he do? We don't know at the beginning what's going to happen. Over the first few days, you could see the fingers going black and hard, and the feet, they just became like dead, like a mummy or a corpse.
What really comes to me is I remember waking up, and I remember they're all covered up. My dad's like, "You want to see it?" And he kind of rolls back my sleeve, and like you see his hand, and it's like black as coal, and it's like sort of shrunken and crusty. It's basically dead, but basically my legs were exactly the same as my arms. They were just like black. And I remember lady telling me, you know, you're probably gonna lose them, the arms and legs. And I didn't really react to it. I just continued talking. She's like, "No, I want you to really listen to what I'm saying." She's like, "You're gonna lose the arms and legs." And then I think I might have cried, but yeah, it's just like bits and pieces. I can't really put everything in order.
I've looked after some children who with different problems as well, and lots of children with meningococcal septicemia here in Auckland in the 90s. But I've never seen anyone as sick as my son that has survived.
And I remember at the time I just wanted them off because they were dead and I couldn't move them, and I was like, I just wanted to be like, it sounds weird, but you just want the process to move along.
This illness is so bad, it makes someone say, look, they can chop my arms off. I'm frightened, but I'm really excited, and I can't wait to get it done. So, I mean, how terrible is this illness that it drives someone to say, I welcome going into a wheelchair, and please chop my arms off. He actually never woke up again for many months. He was sedated and given painkillers. He had to suffer through multiple surgeries. We thought we'd lost him again.
The disease started spreading, so they just had to suddenly rush me to surgery. I remember just noticing one day, like, yo, I don't know if the legs. And it was weird because initially I felt real stupid. I thought, oh, have I been really unobservant that I just didn't even notice when they did it? I felt really dumb, and I was like, I didn't want to say it to anyone, but turned out I just got rushed into surgery because it got pretty hectic and they just had to chop them off. And they unfortunately didn't save the knees, which makes it a bit harder to walk.
Almost every organ was involved, his kidneys, his liver, he was bleeding from the tummy. We didn't know he'd make it. And we just thought all these operations could be too much suffering if he lost all of his bowel. And how is he going to cope? And so many things that just wore us out. You know, after all those years of studying medicine, treating children, the sickest person I've ever seen that survived for anything is my son.
I became like really small, you know, like obviously I was malnourished, I was tiny. Everything, like the world, it just seemed so much bigger, like people, you know?
And the realization hits home that actually, this is going to be a pretty hard, long battle, and how am I actually going to do this? I thought, well, we'll help you through, Ripu, and we'll get there, you know, and then we just sort of, we can do it, really.
I didn't really look at my face for a long time, you know. I just kind of knew about it. Because I knew my body was disgusting, so I didn't really want to see my face. I thought I wouldn't be able to handle it. There's nothing you can do about it. You just kind of roll with it, you know. Because obviously in my mind, I just think it's only when you see the mirror that you're reminded of what things changed. One of the problems is that my skin was really damaged, so I was all bandaged up, and it's really hard to do things. And they just had to keep working on my skin until my skin got better. And then once my skin got better, they were said, okay, now you can leave and go to a rehabilitation facility where you can just work more on your strength. Most days I sort of wake up,
No worries.
have breakfast, and just sort of hang out for a while and then go to the physiotherapy.
Good.
It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to being able to walk. I think it'll open quite a few doors for me again. Be able to be a bit more independent, and I think it'll allow me to pursue a lot of different things. Yeah, let's get an angle, I think. Just... Awesome. Yeah, I feel more confident these days, eh?
Yeah.
Whoa. Awesome. I definitely look forward to coming here and, you know, trying to do some fitness. I wasn't overly into fitness, but it was something that I maintained, you know, just to stay healthy and fit and all that, you know. Oh, whoa, mate. That was a hospital pass, eh?
Very good.
Okay, whoa, okay.
All right, Ripu, so we need you to learn how to fall. We've got the soft mat there
Okay.
to minimise injury.
Yes.
Beauty.
I just don't really have the technique down there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Good parkour.
Parkour.
All right. Down.
Oh, you just about got out without the chair then.
Yes.
The challenge for Ripu is everything that he does with the prosthetics, it takes 3 to 4 times the energy that it requires for you and me to do. So just basic walking for him is like you or me running.
Hopefully, just get on the long legs and get back to my old height, you know? You have to be quite precise, obviously, with the stumps, because it's quite easy just to hit multiple keys at once. With piano, you can generally break any song down just to, chords and a melody, so I kind of just play the melody with my right hand and the bass with my left. It's quite simple, really. I mean, initially it was a bit hard to coordinate, but it's basically the same skill. It's kind of like if you were to play with just, 2 fingers, I guess. In terms of the plastic surgery, it's not something I'm looking forward to because, honestly, they're kind of scary. Those in-between surgery phases, not very pretty. Even when I get one, I'm not expecting to, feel better because I know, yeah, I'll have a nose, but I don't think I'll look much better. I don't think having a nose will, solve my problems, you know? I've just gotten used to my face, you know, but obviously, part of the process, you should get one, you know?
For next week, the idea is to set the stage for when we eventually come to reconstruct your nose. And there are actually 2 bits to the operation next week. One is to put an expander in your forehead, which will make an incision in your hairline and put a tissue expander there. It's just a small, hard piece of plastic, if you like, is how it feels. And then over time, it gradually expands. So at the end of it, when we're close to doing the next operation, it will be the size of, say, an apple.
So what will the final nose look like in the end?
it will be something that people won't look twice at you. They'll think that's your nose. When you are reconstructing such a large area, we just have to have realistic expectations. If it doesn't look quite right to begin with, then there may be operations to do some further adjustments.
Is it going to feel like how my nose used to feel like?
The feeling will be different because we can't reconstruct the nerves.
Oh, of course.
But it's not usually a big problem for most people.
Have you ever had to create a nose with this little to work with before, or?
No, it's pretty uncommon. We want to get looking good, though.
I started writing the blog, how it was like for me and how I was feeling and that, you know? The word disabled is one I found hard to digest. It was unsettling to hear and I refused to accept it. Ironically, I always wanted to be the centre of attention, and now I was. I began to retreat from the harsh reality of my situation to my memories. I was in Queenstown. I was on a train to Sydney. As sad as it may sound, these are the best things I'll ever have. You do feel like you've lost an opportunity, obviously. Just my mental state was obviously, I was feeling very positive and I felt like I was on the rise. I would have been 21. Yeah, it's very devastating to just feel like you got to go back home and you can't really prove to people what you would have done, you know? Especially because I never really did much in New Zealand, you know? I mean, I never was like an achiever in New Zealand. I mean, I never really believed in myself that much. I don't know why. And so I went to Sydney like at the perfect time when I was just like, I would have had 2 semesters left in my masters. Had the masters at 22, I would have been so set, you know what I mean? So obviously, it is kind of annoying, and it does, like, it affects your confidence, and you know, you feel quite negative about it, you know, just how it is.
What?
It's hard to like just feel like normal, you know, like, because obviously you just kind of stand out and like you're kind of like unfortunate, I guess. That's how they view us, unfortunate. And yeah, a lot of like awkward conversations where people try to make conversation out of it. Everyone's obviously really nice to you, but it's hard to like determine what's really genuine, you know? Because everyone's obviously just going to be like, yeah, sorry. It is what it is, you know, and obviously, like, I mean, I say I accept it, but I don't really. Obviously, it bothers me, you know? I get quite annoyed and that.
Do I go down the road?
I mean, I suppose on the streets, you get people staring at you. And then sometimes people will be a bit uncomfortable, I think, in a way. Like, they're not sure how to act or something, or like maybe be a bit overly careful about things.
Yeah, they do. They look at him funny. I get a bit annoyed, if I'm being honest. I find it really annoying. And sometimes I tell them off. I'm really proud of him.
The aim is to get as independent as possible. There's a lot of different hurdles, but I guess the most important thing is just to get myself to be able to do more things on my own. I feel a bit like I'm kind of stuck in a place. I'm sort of stuck in a particular position and I'm gradually trying to move forward, and it's quite slow in that. And obviously I see everyone around me just moving forward and I feel a bit like I'm kind of a bit left behind in a way. It's a bit of a funny stage, I guess. Like, no, there's actually like heaps more like... My friends have been really great. They just treat me the same as always, and I think it's quite important to have that environment of people, just be myself and just joke around and that, yeah.
So what does the surgery, like, involve?
They're going to be reconstructing a nose from scratch, pretty much. So it's going to basically look like I have like a tennis ball shape on my like forehead. He said he's never done it before as well. They know who you are as a person, and you're essentially the same person. You just look a bit different on the exterior. They were cool, you know, they were just the same boys, and I just hang out with them. It's exactly the same, only I don't hit the club with them or like go out and party with them, but I still like, I'll grab a beer with them, I'll watch rugby with them, and I mean, I'm not really much of a party person anymore, you know? It's just because I don't feel like that confident. I don't want to get in people's way being in the wheelchair, so I just kind of chill out. I mean, I feel like my youth is gone. Like, I used to look good and now I don't, and like I feel like someone would have to go out on a limb to, like, you know, wanna get to know me in that way. So I mean, it's just not really major. I mean, I guess it was on my mind for a bit, but now I've kind of put it on the shelf. I don't really think about it too much, you know? It is quite intimidating thinking about what will happen down the line. It's kind of hard to imagine living like this for so long. I do obviously miss being able to just like go out and just feel great about yourself and just meet different people. At the end of the day, it's just not an ideal situation to be in, and I'm just doing what I can in it, you know? I don't think anything really positive has come out of it in terms of improvements in my perception of things. I mean, I can't really see any pros at all, really. I mean, quite frankly, it's worse than it was before, quite obviously.
He was on a springboard about to take off, and somebody just decided to sort of take the springboard away and just let him fall down the canyon. And that just thinks like, well, if you're going to say life isn't fair, well, what's the purpose? This just says, well, that's not fair, is it?
I started playing guitar in my first year of high school when I was 13 years old. I took lessons for about 4 years. It was like a hobby of mine, but I was also real passionate about it, you know? I kind of gravitated towards blues music. Things about the blues, it's all really about feeling rather than technical ability. It's a great thing for me to do and just like sort of release, I guess, a lot of what I have inside me and just like, you know, just pour it out on the instruments. It's just a really good escape, you know. I have like a Facebook page where I chuck up videos of myself just playing guitar and piano, and they're quite easy to access. The North Shore Times picked that up and they did a story which got picked up on the internet, and that got picked up by a couple of different publications and in different countries and that. It was quite nice just knowing people were appreciating that, and it's one of those things that's like a bit short-lived, I guess. It just becomes quite popular and then goes down again, but it was quite a nice little thing to happen. This is Maria, my support worker. She's actually just like a good friend now, just someone who I can hang out with.
Which one?
Yeah. I'm very dependent on other people to help me, and basically everything. That's a big thing for me. Like, I literally can't really go anywhere by myself. And also just like basic things always require assistance, which is obviously very frustrating in terms of like the future. Like, am I ever gonna live by myself? Like, if I'm in a relationship, like what is gonna happen? Like, am I gonna have someone come in all the time to help me? Like, and it's very like, I guess like uncomfortable in a way. Like, it's not something you really want to share with people. Like, you don't want people to know that you need help with all these things. It's quite difficult, I guess, for me in terms of just being able to present myself well and like just wanting to look good and that. I struggle with that, like just insecurity. Maybe a lot of people have insecurities, but just, I mean, I just feel like I'm quite small and I'm quite like not very good looking, and yeah, just to other guys, and like I don't feel like I'm like anything, you know, if that makes sense. Sometimes when I look back on my life, I feel like I'm watching a movie. It seems completely detached to the reality that I'm living today. I often wonder if I'm lost in some lucid nightmare and all I can do is hope to wake up. I guess in times like these, you have to focus on what you can do rather than what you can't. I really thought I could have done something big. Now I'll be like, you'll never know, you know, what could happen, you know? Like, no matter what I do, it'll never be as good as what it could have been, is how I think a lot of it, which is quite cynical. And also just like, no matter what I have, I'll never have like one up on anyone, because they can always just be like, yo, well, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I can never really be like the best, I guess. Someone that I'm just completely content with.
So one of the main things about rugby AV classification, like the numbers.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
So you can have up to 3.5. So Adam's a 1, so this is how hands don't really work. I'm pretty high in terms of like lots of hand function. But the big thing I don't have, which is the way the game's gone, is it's all about trunk control. So I'm like paralysed from the chest down. Whereas you'll be able to like move a chair with your trunk. Basically.
Every team wants a quad amp in their team because they're so physical. You know, you've got your whole quarter to turn your wheelchair, and you know, there's a majority of quad amps are superstars in the sport.
I'm feeling a little bit anxious about just getting smashed out there. Wouldn't want to go flying. Wheelchair rugby, it was quite cool. I'm not sure if it's my thing at the moment, but I've never been the most comfortable in those kind of like sporting kind of environments because I was never really that into sports. But I can see why a lot of people would love it, and that's great. I guess I'm more just into, I have slightly different interests, but it was quite fun. If I get a bit more practice in and like, I mean, I can see myself coming here regularly. It seems like we're all kind of, I guess, on the same playing field, to be fair, so that's pretty cool. I'm gonna go.
Ripu inspires us every day. You know, he wants to get his life back, and he is trying his best. Even if it's a sad day with Ripu, he wants to come out of this sadness. He really wants to make us feel happy and himself being happy. I have this feeling that he is gonna be doing something amazing. I don't know what. He was always a very strong character, and I'm so glad it's still there. So sometimes I feel like nothing wrong has happened. He's still the same Ripu.
He's himself, I think that's the thing. He's changed, obviously, but that inner strength and that inner core is Ripu.
Used to come here a lot back in the days, you know. It's a lovely place just to chill out and reflect on things, and I find myself a lot of the time just thinking back to how I was and where I would be now. I imagined when I went to Australia I'd come back, would return like different, but I didn't expect it to be in this sort of way. But I guess you can't always plan what's going to come next, you know. Definitely, you know, a turning point, everything that went down, and I guess you start to appreciate like kind of like simple pleasures in life, like just coming out here and just chilling out. I mean, I feel good right now, you know. I mean, when I don't really think too much about everything outside this moment, you know.
It is one long journey from Auckland to Oaxaca. It's not for the faint-hearted, especially when you're traveling with a disability. At the moment, we're in rainy season, monsoon season, so it's very hot, very humid, and very wet. Gracias. ¿Cuánto cuesta, señor? My name is Robbie Francis. I'm 27 years old. I'm from Hamilton, New Zealand. I'm the co-founder and co-director of the Lucy Foundation.
Robbie is in Mexico to check up on her business. She's helping coffee farmers improve their yield with the goal of exporting coffee beans to New Zealand.
We're a social enterprise, basically a bunch of young people who are really passionate about disability inclusion and coffee. This journey really began when I had the opportunity to intern for a human rights organization in Mexico City. I began to see how people with disabilities around the world live their lives.
I was managing a cafe and venue a few years ago, and Robbie walks in and she told me about this amazing project and idea that she had and asked me if I wanted to see a business plan and a bit of a proposal of her idea.
I can remember Jessica coming home and just saying, "You won't believe who I met today. I met this, do you remember Robbie?" And she's like, "She's doing this amazing thing with disabilities and coffee, and it's in Mexico."
It was a social enterprise, and it was amazing that she approached me on coffee. What she didn't realise is that my sister has massive physical disabilities, so is differently abled, and my father's Mexican-American.
Oh my goodness! Miguel, welcome to Mexico.
I'm a coffee grower in Colombia. Robbie, she said that if I would like to come and be part of the project, and I say, yes, let's do it, and here I am.
Like coffee? I'd love a coffee if you're putting one on.
The idea came about where we were looking at how we could engage people with disabilities and people without disabilities in activities that brought them together. And we also wanted to include coffee because in New Zealand, you know, we love drinking coffee. So this is the third time we've visited the region, and we're working with a couple of families. We want to ask, how has their coffee been growing? What have they been doing since we last saw them? Certain steps need to be put in place to improve the health of the coffee plants. This is going to lead to the families being able to get a better product and being able to sell it for a higher price. Our plan is just a draft, really. We need to propose it to them, to put it to them, and to get their feedback.
Hola, buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Bien? Hola, buenos días. Hola, Eduardo, ¿cómo estás? Bien?
Bien.
Nice to see you.
I'm nervous, but I'm so excited. Like, this is it. It all begins now, and I don't know what's going to happen, but bring it on. Well, should we get started on the update then? I mean,
yes.
So again, thank you everyone for coming up to meet with us today. For the last 2 or 3 years, we've been talking with you about what are your challenges, what are your strengths, what do you need, and we've also told you a little bit about what New Zealand is looking for in coffee. The good news is that we have a committed buyer for the coffee.
Porque el principal problema, pues, de lo que siempre hemos hablado y de lo que hemos visto, porque usted puede sembrar lo que quiera, pero si está pobre la tierra es muy duro que la mata crezca. Por eso empezar a trabajar en las compostas, aprovechar todos los residuos y empezar a sembrar cultivos que van a ayudar a aflojar la tierra, a hacerla más fértil.
Ya yo me imagino que ya comienza a subir, pues, porque por el abono que tiene. Pero sin abono, pura tierra no va a crecer. Esa tierra, ¿sabes por qué no crece pura tierra?
The soil is the main concern and main issue. Y todo es válido y todo...
Miguel himself comes from a coffee farming family. He is very innovative when it comes to exploring new ways of farming coffee, especially if it's organic and environmental. So he has his own coffee farm in partnership with some people, and he already provides coffee for the New Zealand coffee market. He just has this wonderful way with people, very gentle, and yeah, people just get him.
You have to be somewhere in between and make them understand what people from New Zealand want to let them, are trying to show them, are trying to teach them, and as well all the different ideas or even fear that the people in this region have around producing coffee, as they are in a really tight setup of mind. They are not easily moved from what they are used to. Now things are not working really good. So that's the possibility of a click. I will try to come and show you how it could be better. I will do it with my bare hands. I will show you what I want you to do. And in that way, they will see the difference of a healthy crop and a non-healthy crop.
We want to work with you to figure out a system that means that you are not out of pocket on these days where you're working with the coffee.
Que igual afecta en general la economía de la familia. Entonces, pues es algo que toca mirarlo y entenderlo.
Ella que no puede trabajar, pues, con familia, con...
Todas esas inquietudes se van a ir resolviendo a medida que se desarrolla la conversación.
A lot of these families are living in very difficult situations. They don't have a regular or secure income. Now, they would love to just work in coffee and just do that, that's their thing. But that requires time, it requires effort, labour and money. So because they don't have those things to put in there, they're having to work in other jobs elsewhere around the town or even for other farmers. And so for them to bring it up and for us to have an idea of what we might do was a great way to test the waters and to see what they thought of it. Hola, Rogelio. Buenas tardes, ¿cómo estás? Bien. Nice to see you.
I've heard so much about it for the last 2 years since the rest of the team have been here. So I'm just excited to see how a farm that functions really well looks and what they're doing, and just to get a vision.
It's really chilled and a lot of quiles. Do you see?
The shade trees?
Yes. The idea in our project is to become organic, but it's a process. You will get to be organic in a term of 1 year or 2 years. So the production of organic coffee in Mexico, it's not really that hard. Thankfully, they keep their own shade trees and they have a lot of canopy trees that are really tall and that will really help coffee or the production of organic coffee. So the reality is that in Mexico, you can grow organic coffee with a little bit of help. The Pluma coffee, it's really unique because it's a progeny that developed in this area. You cannot grow Pluma coffee in Colombia or in other places. It's indigenous and unique to this area. That's the importance of Pluma. And it's also because of the township called Pluma Hidalgo, the surroundings and all the environment. So it makes a unique place to try to save and to maintain.
So this is like a beautiful plant, right?
Yes, you can see the plants that are really healthy, and it's because of the treatment. You put the microorganisms with organic matter, with the cal, so you level the pH, and everything, as it starts good, it will keep on going good. Every node has a lot of cherries.
Yeah.
And this is just a young coffee tree of 2 years old. So you can see the change of a well-sustained and properly raised coffee tree.
So potentially, if we planted now, we could have something like this within 2 years.
Hopefully, yes.
Awesome.
That's the goal.
So this is kind of the ideal situation.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
One of a really good,
awesome,
a really good farmer from the region. And
yeah.
We're only half of an hour away from Pluma Hidalgo.
So there is hope. There is hope for Pluma coffee. Fantastic.
Well, Miguel, this is a bit bigger than the windmill at your farm.
Yes, this is slightly big.
Can you tell me
my
how...
farm, but we will have something similar, but in a different shape. Still, this is a really good windmill, where you can see a main pulper,
yes,
where you will remove the skin from the cherries.
Yes.
A floating channel, where you
yes,
remove the beans with less density, will float, and the bigger beans and healthier beans will stay down.
For this coming harvest, we need to start thinking about how we can ensure these facilities are accessible. Thinking how would someone who, such as myself, access the depulper? How would someone access the, all of these different levels?
You want to plan?
We're focusing on the environmental aspect, the economic aspect of selling the coffee, and also the social aspect of disability inclusion. When people with disabilities are included, it's not just good for them, but it is good for the whole community. People just really have no idea, do they? They sit drinking their coffee one after the other in the cafes.
Árboles jóvenes, el sol es muy bueno.
They have actually no idea the process.
No, esto tiene más malo.
It's definitely not for the
Reseca la
faint-hearted.
tierra. Y la vuelve tóxica.
Stop. My heart's
Sí, no,
racing
ni hierba.
pretty hard because it's so high.
Robbie's a tough cookie. She's really decisive. When she decided to do the project, she went full throttle to it. And she's now here but having people around her that are willing to come and take risks, like Ryan and Jess are coming to live here to Mexico, to be part of something bigger than just earning money or having a happy life.
I was born with a condition called phocomelia, which meant that the bones in the lower half of my body didn't develop properly before birth. I learned to walk on a prosthetic leg, and because I couldn't say prosthesis or artificial limb when I was a toddler, my leg became known as Lucy Leg. Hence the name, the Lucy Foundation. And when I was 12 years old, they amputated from below the knee to through the knee. I know that I would definitely not be doing what I'm doing now if I hadn't had the experience of growing up with a disability. For many years, I didn't identify as being disabled, and I guess I tried to hide it. I made a conscious decision to almost come out as a disabled person. I have been told that another amputation of my other leg is on the cards. I won't always be able to be as mobile and independent as I am, so I've got to live in the moment, make the most of the now.
Yo soy Epifanio Hernández y tengo 78 años. Y tengo 12 hijos, 2 hombres y 10 mujeres. Y todos, pues, los que pueden trabajar, trabajamos. Y a la que no puede trabajar, pues no trabaja, es porque no puede. Que para los gastos de la familia, se redució, pues, con eso que ya no se da el café. Porque nomás pagamos para tomar nomás y antes, cuando se daban 10 bultos, yo se los vendía al instituto. Yo estaba chavito cuando fui a trabajar con mi papá allí, una mata le sacaba 3 canastos en ese tiempo. Pero ahora, para llenar un canasto ya me lo dicen como 100 matas, para llenar un canasto. Se amontonaba, tinas de café salía en ese tiempo. Pero ahorita estoy seguro, pues, que por ahí donde había esos cafetales, ahora es puro monte. Ya no existen los cafetales. Pues la roya, antes cuando no había roya, la producción había más café, donde da el café, pero con la roya pues ya no da café por el motivo de que se cae la hoja. Y ya la broca es diferente, porque la plaga de la broca es otra, que es, se come el grano del café, como este, el que está en la broca, que es donde ya comió la broca. Entonces ya se pierde ese granito, ese pergamino, ese oro.
The situation with Pluma coffee, it's been a little bit dramatical because it's under threat. In Mexico, what's happening is that the leaf rust has spread out really a lot. And it's spreading much more because the soil is not that fertile anymore. The growers from Pluma Hidalgo were used to have really good crops without doing much about anything. They just let the coffee grow and they will have a harvest. Now they need to work on their crop.
¿Cómo te explicas de la reunión que hubo ayer? Sí, ¿cómo lo vi? ¿Está bien o no?
Está bien, creo, porque es del café, ¿no?
Sí, es del café.
Está bien, porque ya están sembrando, ya sembraron.
Pues ahora lo que queremos nosotros es tener abonos.
Falta todavía, y lo hago abonos, y lo hago...
Para proteger esas matas para que tengan mejor vida. En las matas, pues, que estén más frondosos, que tengan más vida, que tengan más, ¿cómo diré? Más resistente a la tierra.
Porque con el abono vive la mata, pero sin abono no, pues tierra lavada, ¿cómo está ahí?
Y entre más tiempo nosotros ya pensamos pues en las compostas que van a ser mejor todavía.
Toda la gente me dice el Lalo, pero mi verdadero nombre es Gerardo Hernández. Y mis años, ahorita estoy contando como 49 años. Yo vivo con mi hermano Leobardo y mi mamá. Son 3 nomás, vivimos en la casa.
¿Cuánto cebolla porque comes?
Mirar de unos 50, 20 metros, ¿no? Porque no alcanza mi vista a verlo bien, pues. Veo medio opaco. Páseme y machete. Sí. Ahorita vengo.
Bueno, vaya bien.
Llego más a las 5 o 6.
Si no llueve, pues.
Ajá.
Pero si llueve, todo bien.
Ajá, ya me voy.
Sí.
Sí, porque mi mamá dice que yo nací así, de nacencia. De nacencia he venido así creciendo. De chiquito he venido así. Por eso yo no fui antes a la escuela, porque antes fui una semana. Pero mi maestra no me aceptó. Es por lo mismo, que yo no alcanzaba a ver la letra. No. Y no era para que yo fuera a las escuelas. Porque ya son cosas que Dios puso. El hombre ya no lo puede quitar. Sí, son cosas. Por eso yo he venido creciendo así. Yo no te reniego. Yo no diciendo porque estoy así, Dios mío, no. No, porque Dios ya me dijo sí. Aquí trabajo. Aquí el patrón me paga. Me da mi poquito, me da mis 100 pesos, 150, sí. Pero a la semana, ¿no? Y ya con ese dinero, ya me lo llevo para mi casa. Ya compro mis alimentos. Para que yo me puedo mantener. Así, está colgadito. Luego, lo que hago es limpiar. Así, fíjense. Ay, no le voy a decir que voy a tener, ¿no? Porque porque hago mal, porque si voy a decir que tengo, porque este que aquí voy a decir que es mío, no. Aquí no es mío, aquí es del patrón.
So Lalu's house should be somewhere up here, right?
Yeah. Have you been here before?
Nah. Nope. But there's a big hill.
Wait, I will pull.
Okay. One of the most exciting things we discovered at the meeting was that Lalo, because he didn't have a farm, took this message during a workshop when we built a compost bin together. And over the last year, he has constructed his own.
How high are we here, Miguel?
Maybe this is a way that we can engage him in the business side of things by potentially purchasing compost off him for the others who do have coffee farms.
Lalo.
Ah,
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
¿Cómo estás?
Bien.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Ah.
¿Cómo está Lalo?
Muy bien, muy bien.
¿Cómo le ha ido?
Muy bien, aquí estamos.
Muy bien.
Lalo, we've heard that you've been working on some composting. We're wondering if you could show us.
Que nos contaron que está trabajando con la composta, que si de pronto nos puede mostrar un poquito de lo que está haciendo.
It's okay, I see. Here it is. It's okay? ¿Está bien?
Ahí no.
Perfecto.
Ahí queda bien.
Porque este estuvo, la tabla lo compré. Le compré esta lámina por ahí, usada pues.
El costo de toda la compostera fue alrededor de 100 pesos.
Ajá, 100.
Okay,
Ajá, eso es lo que costó.
It's very helpful for us to know. How much do you think this might produce?
It's based on what they have available or what they can buy to eat or what they have available to put into the compost. In the future, we can advise him or assess him to go in a bigger volume by sourcing stuff from other people or
from the neighbors.
Asking to the neighbors, hey, I can collect your pills, I can collect things like that, and start creating more volume.
Yeah.
I think if we're going to design something specifically for making compost, then we can use what he's got and make it grow and
Strengthen it even more,
Yeah.
Ellos trajeron trabajos de por ahí que no los han hecho, pues vamos a hacerlo. Más sé como salga, le dije, pues lo vamos a hacer. Sí, dice. Vamos a participar, vamos a unirnos entre nosotros, porque es una ayuda para ustedes. Es el bien para ustedes, sí, le dije. Estoy cumpliendo.
I'm just on such a buzz to see Lalo take on board the advice and the guidance that we brought last time about composting and the importance of it, and has done it himself. I don't think that's the best outcome, I think, for us.
Yeah. And the most important thing is that almost he invested into the compost. He paid 100 pesos in things to build it.
That's right. And that's a lot of money for him. $10 is a day's work.
What he's got is great for, I guess, learning the steps to making the compost. Almost like a trial run, I guess. But if he wants to do it where he's getting food from the neighbours and the community, he's going to need to be much bigger than that, 4 or 5 times bigger.
With a project like this, there is always a risk of coming across as, the white saviour or the colonialist, coming in, changing the way they do things, especially with people who are very traditional in their approaches to life. It's actually up to us to learn from them. We're constantly asking, is this okay? How would you do it? And really taking that on board, not just asking the question, but actually responding. I know that what we're trying to achieve here sounds like we've bitten off more than we can chew. And there's so many unknowns in front of us that sometimes you think, what the heck am I doing? You know, we could be leading a pretty comfortable life in New Zealand and not worrying about these things. At the start of this week, I was feeling a little nervous, a little anxious.
Hola, buenas. Hola, buenos días.
What was going to happen? I had no idea. But it's falling into place.
No, nomás la
unas matitas, no sé si en la bolsa de plástico.
A couple of years ago, I actually read this really beautiful proverb, a Mexican proverb, and it said, they tried to bury us. They didn't know we were seeds. You know, throughout history, people with disabilities have been treated as second-class citizens. We have been buried, but we are the seeds. And this is just the start. This is just the beginning. We are going to plant the coffee and watch as it grows.
That's right. You ain't on my swag. You ain't on my swag. You ain't on my swag. On my swag radar.
Hey girlfriend, call me. Hey, my name is Gigi Cunningham. And Gigi's a movie star I haven't seen in my life. I came here and said, hello everyone. This is who I am. But let's go.
You ain't on my swag radar.
I'm 17 years old. I live at Wendell, Illinois. That's my big dream in my studio because I don't lip singing. I'm a break dancer. Actually, yeah, I'm a break dancer. I'm a cheerleader, like cheering. I like sports. I like football, exercise. I like to run. I like to run track. But I want to be a model.
Gigi is a ball of excitement. She really loves the camera and she likes to be in front of an audience. Gigi's name is Jalea Emotion Cunningham. And the meaning of that name is beautiful. The name and the meaning has really been a part of who she is because she is beautiful.
Let's go. All right, hook it up. Just dig right on down in there. There you go. Hey, get you some legs up out of it. Okay, all right, you gonna finish with me?
Get you some? Say our prayers. Come on.
Okay.
Okay. Faith. Thank you for God, thank you for our family. Thank you for shoot the video of me in the commercial, and we're excited. Amen.
Amen. All right.
Thank you.
Sister, where's that?
How was Christmas shopping? I love my parents. I love my mom. She's the best mom. She's the best of her word. She making some tutus if we call it straight. She made some shoes. I'm very happy with my parents. Lovely. Oh, I see you. My dad, he's funny. He's handsome. He's cool. He's awesome. But he's a good father to take care of me. My little brother, Makai. We like each other. We're brother and sisters.
Family is really important to her. We're just like any typical family, you know, but we try to, you know, do things together. It's important, you know, to do that, to have structure.
I don't know why I got that. I don't know why I got so smart.
I had Gigi. I was 17 years old. I didn't know, you know, that there was any type of disability or anything at that moment. When I looked at her, you know, she kind of looked a little different. And it was just kind of like a strange atmosphere. Everybody was kind of quiet and didn't really say much, but kind of like on edge, like they wanted to tell me something, but they didn't. So I left the hospital and we came to one of her first appointments. And that was the moment that I received the information that she had Down syndrome. I cried there, came home, I cried for about a week. And finally, I just picked myself up and said, you know, you can do this. You can do this.
I have an disability, I do, but I didn't do anything. My dream, I want to graduate from college, get my driver's license. I want to live in my own house. I want to live in New York City or LA. I want to live there because I gotta be an artist. I like music.
She has a lot of things that she wants to do. She wants a job. She wants to go to college. I'm trying to kind of get her out there just a little bit so that she's a little more independent than what she is.
I'm clear. First, I can get dressed. Thank you. I like school, yeah, I do. My favorite subject, food class or Spanish class.
Gigi loves school. She doesn't like to miss a day, I'll tell you that. Hey.
Dad rubbed sunscreen on our backs and told us to put some on our faces, arms, and legs. Dad needs to be capitalized.
Every year we do what's called an IEP, which is an individualized evaluation for her. Talks about what level she's at and where she needs to be.
Julia, do you see any?
Brittany.
Brittany needs to be capitalized. Looks like I'll keep your hair. Back on that.
Growing up, a lot of kids made fun of her. And she would cry. She didn't understand, why are these kids being mean to me? And they would poke fun about, you know, the way that she looked, the way that she talked, and a lot of the kids didn't invite her to different things that they were having. And she would say, well, Mommy, I want some friends. The defining moment when everything just literally finally changed, her 9th grade in school as a freshman, and she came home and she was crying, and it was a different form of bullying that I think that she had experienced before. She was just kind of depressed a little bit, where she kind of sat in her room, and then I would try to uplift her spirits and talk to her about bullying. We inquired about DVDs, so we sat down and we watched that so that she could understand, this is what happens and this is what you can do. And from that moment, it was just like she made a decision on her own that, you know, I'm not going to let them affect me anymore.
Okay.
This for us, stop moving. If people making fun of you, you tell someone. I come home and start crying. I feel sad. I come home to my mom and I say, "Are you okay? Are you okay, Julia?" "Yeah, I'm fine." But I was still crying. I feel sad, but no one's making fun of me. Like I have a disability, but I hope myself to stand up, to speak up. If you get bullied, tell someone. Just be yourself. And they'll call me a name, call me ugly. I'm not ugly because I'm looking in the mirror. I say I'm beautiful.
A lot of bullying stopped. I mean, with the Gigi going around on Facebook with her population and how people with kids with serious problems has been. She's affected a lot of people, and she's made people. I look up to her, honestly.
It be people who think they up there whole time. They doing worse than other people.
But they always be trying to bully people. But I feel like if somebody bully you, you just heat them back, and then y'all gonna be equal.
Heat them back.
Yeah, I do have friends in school. Yeah. They're inside, they're happy, they're cheerful.
The good thing about her, having her disorder or whatever, she, put her mind to anything. Can't nobody tell her she can't do nothing. That's the good thing about her.
And she's very smart. She's very smart.
And it's pretty important to make sure, when you're doing the photos and different things like that, to kind of keep up on social media. Because, see, if you look up here, you have your actual business card with all your contact information. Social media has been really great with getting Gigi's name out there. She became like a viral sensation, pretty much overnight, to where different social sites like the Huffington Post, blackdoctor.org, Tea and Breakfast, somehow it ended up clear over in Italy. I mean, it was the feedback and the comments were really positive. So what we've pulled up here is the Helen Wells Agency, and that's the actual agency that we'll go to on Friday. And we'll get to meet with some people there, and they'll kind of go over with you on modeling techniques, photo shoots, and different things that most models go through, to secure an agent. You'd be happy doing that and giving it a go and seeing what it's all about? I think you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can do it.
Yes, ma'am.
She wanted to model, and I said, okay, well, let me figure out what we need to do to get this started. I found a guy that was from Project Capture, which was willing to shoot a portfolio for her. So when she did that, it just kind of did something for her self-esteem and her confidence. Because after it was all done, she said, well, Mommy, she said, this was the best time of my life.
I want to be a model because I like be beautiful, wear yourself, fashion yourself, and wear yourself. I like to walk in the wedding show, walk in the wedding show, do my own thing. Okay, Mama say, come on, baby girl, come on, baby girl.
Gigi is a vibrant, happy 17-year-old young lady, smart, funny, confident, from Danville, Illinois. She is an aspiring model actor and has recently modeled with Project Captured and Changing the Face of Beauty. Look at her go!
That is a stretch!
Dance proudly, and friends.
She just recently did a catwalk with the Global Down Syndrome Foundation in Denver, Colorado. She was not nervous at all. When they called her name, she just flipped a switch and she just became this different person. And she strutted and she moved her hips and she smiled and she did her twirl, and the crowd stood up for her and they were yelling and clapping and hollering. To see her up there on that stage, I cried because, she's gonna always be my baby girl. I don't want Down syndrome to define who she is or what it is that she's destined to be. That's just like I don't want her to feel like because I have Down syndrome that I can't do this, I can't do that. Yes, you can. We don't use the word in this household, you cannot. You can. You may not be able to do it just right that very first time, but you will eventually get there. You may just do it at a slower rate, but you can do it. So when she starts different activities or different things, you know, I make sure that she finishes them all the way through.
You want to do boys or some girls? Just girls. 25.
Makai is wonderful. Growing up, he didn't quite understand what Down syndrome was. He couldn't understand that, well, why does she get so much attention, or why does she get this and why does she get that? So I had to explain to him, you know, it's not that she's getting any extra attention. You know, I try to, you know, make sure both of you have the same amount of attention, but she just requires a little more help.
You throw punches with this button right here. You flick it up, down, move around like this.
We've actually lived here for about 12 years, and a lot has changed. When we first got here, the neighborhood was really full and we had a lot of neighbors, but with different jobs changing and a lot of people have moved out of town. I can remember a time when I was younger that we could play outside and we didn't have to worry about the shootings and kids being picked up by strangers and different things like that. And it's not just here, it's pretty much everywhere. So are you excited about tonight?
Yes.
You are? So is David a pretty nice guy?
Yeah.
Pretty nice guy. Now, does he have any brothers or any sisters?
No, he only child.
I am really nervous about Gigi dating. I'm really overprotective. So to see her be interested in boys, and we've had the talk, and so I'm learning to kind of let go a little bit.
Going on your first date?
Yes.
All right. Make sure you have a fantastic time and enjoy yourself, okay?
Yes, Daddy.
All right.
You
All right. See you soon.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Jalea was actually 3 years old when I came into her life.
You got everything?
It was different, but I don't know, something special about it that I just always had admired and loved. But growing up, I don't know, it just seemed like, I don't know, we just here now, I don't know. But it's been a long time coming. I've been watching her evolve from a little tyke to the beautiful, you know what I'm saying, young lady that she is now, coming to her own. And it's been actually an adventure. Something adorable, something that I admire. And I actually take pride in.
Hey. I was so mad. It was silly.
Alright, you guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready to order.
Alright, what can I get you?
Baked potatoes.
Chicken strips.
Okay.
French fries here.
Okay.
This is my first date, yes.
This is my first time going to Garfield's.
You're funny. I like guys that ask me out to date.
I mean, every time Derek be hearing this in the classroom, he'd be like, he talking about every boy in the class. You talk about every boy.
When you talk about every boy, it was just a boy. Don't say
You talking
that.
about all boys.
I'm curious about you, David.
You're curious about me.
Yeah, I do, but you look thoughtful, you're nice, but you're a really lazy guy.
I know I'm lazy.
You're not lazy. You're handsome. This is our special day. Don't do that to me. Don't be sad to me. Are you still mad at me and no reason why?
I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
So you cool?
I'm happy.
You happy?
Yeah.
Look, listen, David, listen, you're my best friend. We
Right.
know each other in school, but actually we had feelings for each other. But
Right.
you don't have feelings about me. I have disability, but I have to love you for a migraine. Right?
Right.
Are we cool?
Yeah, we're cool.
Cool.
Are you ready for dance class?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey guys, give me a hug. What
All right, let's do Don't Let Your Mouth Talk.
Don't let your mouth talk, let your body talk. Don't let your mouth talk, let your body talk. Don't let your mouth talk, let your body talk. Don't let your mouth talk, let your body talk. Don't let your mouth talk, let your body talk. Don't let your mouth talk, let your body talk. Pretty on my right side, and I was pretty on my left. I was so diamond pretty, I couldn't stand myself. Ooh-wee. Those pretty girls are just behind every time.
They have a lot of energy. Yes, a lot of energy. And I'm Tammy. This is Tierica, Coach Tierica, and this is Coach Becky.
7, 8, 9.
When I first met Gigi, I seen her on Facebook, and I said, I want this little girl. Gigi is awesome. Yeah, she's an awesome little girl. I love her. She never gets mad. She never shows.
She's a lovable person.
Yeah, she shows each kid respect and love. And I'm so proud of her. She has a beautiful spirit. I really love her mom for letting her, do the
Participate
thing.
with
Yeah,
us.
participate and get into other things. Her mom, she's not lacking in nothing. I mean, she's just up on Gigi like, yes.
I like cooking because I take classes. Step 2, animated roll. Measure the graham cracker crab. Like help my parents cook. Cooking for a recipe, I like cheesecake, like different flavor, like topping fruits on that. First we'll do that. Before that, we'll do a 4½ cup of fresh vegetables and mashed potatoes, onions, bell pepper, and about 1-inch pieces.
But I still want to talk to you a little about, both of you, about the importance of being able to learn how to cook, because that way when you get a little older and you venture off and decide to get your own place, you'll need to know how to cook food for yourself. Okay. So do you think it's important to know how to cook, just in case if you decide to live on your own?
Yeah.
But when you're putting your pot on the stove, if I'm walking past here, what's gonna happen?
You bump into
Okay, so which way do you need to turn the eye? Okay, good. Just shake it in there. So this week we are having a family dinner, and my brothers and sisters are coming into town, and we break bread together. And then Makai, you two help me.
What do you think for your family?
Gigi made the macaroni.
Yeah.
So you're going to see Helen Wells,
Helen Wells, and
modeling agency.
Ah, okay. Big time.
Yeah.
What you want to toast to?
I want to talk to my father.
And what else?
And my uncle and my mom.
Toast to family.
Family?
Family.
Toast to family? Well, let's do that. We'll toast to family. I'll toast with my water.
There you go.
I love you guys.
We love you too.
We love you too, Gigi.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Love you.
Why does she have to be older than me?
Okay, we can take that one. Here, put these in your suitcase too. So you can have. around a little bit. All right, we are off. Yeah.
All right, you going down this trunk.
Yeah, we're going in the red truck.
Okay. All right.
Love you.
Love you too. All right,
Be
take
safe.
care. All right, have fun.
Okay. Mama, how many miles you get there?
82 miles.
What are you doing? What you doing? Check my schedule.
Helen Wells Agency started 35 years ago. I think everybody thinks we have a very honest agency and have wonderful, wonderful talent. We've watched a lot of changes. It used to be if you were a model or if you were going to do a TV commercial, you had to be slim. But now, the person that gets the job is the everyday-looking person. Hi, I'm Helen Wells.
And I'm Erica.
Erica.
I'm Gigi Canahan.
Nice to see you, Gigi. Yeah, so do you want to be a model? Is that why you came to see me?
Yeah, I like to walk. The running man show, and do my own thing.
Do your own thing, walking down the
And the stage.
runway, right?
Because the part I know, like be beautiful with yourself, Francis. And I'm so excited about that. My mom cheering me, saying, "You could go, baby girl." And I'm not gonna say it. I hear her in a video on Facebook. Showing Gigi, and I said,
Oh,
like,
that is awesome.
I'm not gonna do anything I want to do.
You are so right. I think your mom has instilled great ideas in you.
Thank you.
Right. Gigi, let's go downstairs and get some pictures taken. What do you think?
That's cool for me.
All right, we'll do that.
And can you give me a really big smile? Perfect. All right. And let me get a couple. Awesome. Let me get one more. Perfect. Perfect.
She is darling. Oh, I love that attitude. I think that's awesome. It doesn't sound like a child who's ever had a problem or ever felt that she was different. It's great.
Perfect. Love. There you go. Perfect. Love it. Let me get two. I think we're good.
She's great, huh?
You did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm excited to get through the images and get them up for you.
I would like to thank you for just allowing us to meet with you today. This has been an awesome experience, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think it was our honor, not yours. Because we haven't seen a girl like this for a long time that's got all the knowing what she wants to do and is sure she's going to get there, and this is great.
Gigi has just been signed to Helen Wells Agency, and we are just so overjoyed that she was actually considered, you know, to pursue her modeling career, and it is just a proud moment right now. So we're happy. Gigi, are you happy? Yes. Excited? Does that make you feel good? Just excited. So we'll have to share all the great news with our family and friends when we get back home. All right. Congratulations, sweetie. Love you.
Hi, Daddy.
Hey.
How you doing? Good. I'm so excited.
She got signed. She got signed to the Helen Wells Agency.
What?
Yeah, she got signed to the Helen Wells Agency.
Y'all serious?
Yes, we're serious.
Yeah, we're serious.
Well, we just wanted to call and give you the good news. So we'll see you.
I'm saying y'all serious.
Yes.
Yes, Daddy.
So we'll. Huh?
Excellent. I'm so proud of y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daddy. I love you.
You never set limits on a kid because you never know if they will exceed them. And so far, she has, just soared.
Yep, I'm excited.
Attitude was made with funding from New Zealand On Air. Attitude was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.
You ain't on my swag. You ain't on my swag. You ain't on my swag. On my swag radar. You ain't on my swag. You ain't on my swag. You ain't on my swag. On my swag radar. You ain't on my swag. You ain't on my swag. You ain't on my swag. On my swag radar. You ain't on my swag. On my swag radar.
Attitude was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.